Long, long ago, in a small village nestled between green rolling hills and sparkling streams, there was a woman who prayed every night for a child. She and her husband, Manoah, were kind and gentle people, but their home was quiet. Too quiet because they had no children. One warm evening, as the golden sun dipped behind the hills and fireflies began to twinkle in the air, something extraordinary happened. A glowing angel appeared in their home. "Don't be afraid," said the angel with a voice soft as a lullaby. "I bring good news. You will have a son, and he will be very special. From the day he is born, never cut his hair, for he is chosen by God to save his people from their enemies, the Philistines." Manoah and his wife fell to their knees in awe. They nodded quickly, promising to do everything just as the angel said. And so, not long after, a baby boy was born. They named him Samson, which means little son. From the moment he opened his eyes, it felt as though light had filled their house. Samson was no ordinary baby. By the time he could crawl, he was lifting little baskets full of fruit with his chubby hands. By the time he could walk, he was carrying small goats around the yard, giggling the whole time. Other children loved playing with him. He never used his strength to hurt anyone. Instead, he would help his friends reach high branches to pick mangoes or push their toy carts when they got stuck in the mud. But his long, dark hair? Oh, how the children teased him. "Why don't you cut it?" asked his best friend Eli one day. "Because Mama says it's my promise to God," Samson said proudly. Eli shrugged it. "Well, it makes you look like a lion." Samson grinned. He liked that. Years passed, and Samson grew taller and stronger. By the time he was a teenager, he could carry water jars as big as barrels on his shoulders, and he could lift stones that grown men couldn't budge. But Samson wasn't just strong. He was curious, kind, and sometimes a little stubborn. He loved exploring the hills and talking to God as he walked. "Why did you make me so strong?" he would ask. And though Samson didn't hear a voice, he always felt peace in his heart, as if God whispered, "You will know when the time is right." One sunny afternoon, Samson decided to visit a nearby town. As he walked through a vineyard, he heard a low growl. His eyes widened. From the shadows leapt a huge lion with golden eyes and sharp teeth. Samson froze. He had no weapons. But before fear could grab hold of him, something amazing happened. God's Spirit filled Samson, and he felt a surge of strength. As the lion pounced, Samson caught it by its jaws and wrestled it to the ground, bare-handed. When it was over, Samson stood there, breathing hard, amazed. "God, you really are with me," he whispered. He didn't tell anyone about the lion. Not yet. One day, Samson met a young woman from the Philistine town of Timnah. She was kind, gentle, and laughed at his jokes. Samson's heart felt lighter than air. "I want to marry her," he told his parents. "But she is a Philistine," his father said worriedly. "I know," Samson replied, "but maybe this is part of God's plan." So Samson set off to arrange the wedding. At the wedding feast, Samson decided to have a little fun. "I have a riddle for you," he told the Philistine guests. "If you solve in 7 days, I'll give you 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't, you'll give me 30 sets of clothes." The guests leaned in eagerly. "Tell us the riddle." Samson smiled mysteriously. "Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet." The guests puzzled over it for days, but they couldn't figure it out. So they went to Samson's new wife and begged her to tell them the answer. Feeling pressured, she pleaded with Samson until he finally whispered it to her. "It's the lion I killed. Bees made a hive in its body, and I ate honey from it." When the guests gave the answer, Samson realized what had happened. Angry, he stormed off, and in his anger, he struck down 30 Philistine men to pay the debt. From that day on, Samson became a thorn in the side of the Philistines. Every time they tried to trap him, God gave Samson incredible strength to escape. Once he was surrounded by 1,000 Philistine soldiers. He looked around and saw the jawbone of a donkey on the ground. Picking it up, he charged forward, defeating every single soldier. When it was over, Samson threw the jawbone aside and cried out, "God, I am so thirsty." Immediately, water bubbled up from the ground to refresh him. Years later, Samson met a woman named Delilah. She was beautiful and clever, and Samson loved her deeply. But the Philistine leaders offered her a fortune if she could discover the secret of his strength. "Tell me, Samson," Delilah asked one night, "how can you lose your strength?" At first, Samson teased her with false answers. "If I'm tied with new ropes, I'll be weak." But each time, when the Philistines tried it, Samson broke free easily. Finally, after much pleading, Samson confessed, "My strength is in my hair. If it's cut, I will be as weak as any other man." That night, as Samson slept, Delilah gently snipped off his long locks. When the Philistines came, Samson jumped up to fight, but his strength was gone. They captured him, blinded him, and took him to their city as a prisoner. In prison, Samson's hair began to grow again. He spent his days grinding grain and praying. He felt sorry for all the times he had been selfish. "God," he whispered one day, "give me strength one last time so I can save your people." The Philistines decided to hold a great festival in their temple to mock Samson. They brought him out and placed him between two huge pillars. "Let me lean on them," Samson said. As he stood there, Samson prayed, "Lord, remember me. Please give me strength this one last time." Then, with all his might, he pushed against the pillars. The temple shook and crumbled, crushing everyone inside, including Samson himself. It was a sad but heroic end. Samson had fulfilled his purpose. He delivered his people from their enemies. Children, Samson's story teaches us that God gives each of us special gifts. We must use them wisely to help others. Even when we make mistakes, God can forgive us and give us a second chance. So, as you lie in bed tonight, think about your own special gifts. Are you strong, kind, creative, brave? Whatever it is, you can use it to make the world a brighter place. And remember, like Samson, you are never truly alone. God is always with you. The end. Good night, little one. Dream big and stay strong. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Sweet dreams.